G'day, listeners. This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, supshq.com.au. Use BWB15 at checkout to receive 15% off and direct shipping. G'day, guys and girls. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite weekly shit talk podcast and sciencey fitness banter. Bros with Brains, episode 71. I don't know what episode number we're at.
I got no idea.
Joined with my co-host, as usual, Big Scaffy. How are you, mate?
Not too bad. I mean, I always do that on the video because it's on record instead of people mostly listen to it and they don't watch it. But
start watching
anyway,
so you can see our hand signs.
True. Gang signs, just throw them up like, what up?
Throw on bees, baby.
East side's the best. Nah, same shit, man. Work, train, eat, sleep, repeat.
I did see that the big fella is back to training. I've been getting some daily content, which is good.
Yeah, all the dudes. That's what I did with my coach, Joe. I'm like, if I don't send you pump photos, it means I haven't gone to the gym. So
just accept the inbox flooding of what it is. Me going to the gym.
It's just what it is. I'm just like, if I don't go to the gym, I haven't sent a photo.
Yep.
So simple.
Pretty much what you expect when you sign up is that I'm gonna send you bulk photos.
Yeah, just a metric of mine.
Yeah, you don't even need check-in data, just photos. Because I know 5 days out of your sessions, you've gone to the gym, you've got a pump. All right, done.
Well, it's all about the look, right? We don't care about the rest.
Yeah, exactly right.
Welcome to bodybuilding 101.
Just accept how you look for how you are.
Oh, don't be silly. We can't have acceptance.
What's happening, mate? How's things? How's training?
What's this hippie shit? Yeah, good. Being back. It's been good to train and not get DOMs. Gotta love anabolic steroids. It's great. I honestly thought after yesterday's leg session, I thought I was going to be a write-off today. Nope. Nope. We're good. I'm like, sweet. We're good. Last week's leg session, I was like, I was a bit tender. I was like, oh, okay. Then it sort of passed in a day. But today, yesterday I trained. So today I'm like, no, I feel good. We're good here. So train some upper today. Let's see how that pulls up tomorrow. Because my upper was actually the one that had the most DOMs from last week. Out of my few sessions, I did 3, 2 legs and 1 upper. And then my upper session was brutal. Like I just pulled up real sore.
Full send.
Yeah, well, it's much easier. So I was supposed to be training to like 2 RIR, give or take. It's really, really tricky to gauge on upper because the drop off is so quick.
Yeah.
So I kind of just go to failure, and I think that's probably why I pulled up so much sore.
Probably.
And then I was sort of like assessing my logbook today, and I'm like, so I rate each exercise once I've completed it. So I'm doing like 2 working sets. And I'll give it like a score out of 10 just to see like, literally like an RP for both sets together, not just individually.
Yeah.
It's like I'm working to like a 2 RIR or trying to anyway. And then it's like, well, that was a 10 out of 10 because that felt like fucking shit, or like that was heavy, or I died. And then I was looking at them all and they were like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I'm like, fuck, I've gone a little bit too much.
As we say, do as we say, not as we do.
100%. So I feel like I'm going to be really sore tomorrow, but we'll find out.
Nice. That's always fun.
If that's the case, I'll just up the dose. No joking.
Pretty much. Just more tea.
Literally just all of it. I mean, I'm not on that high of a dose now anyway, that I think about it.
Gram-based dose tea, full gram trend, then figure out the rest.
I like it. I do miss trend sometimes. I haven't had it for so long. I'm like, I do miss it. But anyway, how are we going up?
It dries you out, right? Like it makes you drier and makes you look.
No, isn't that what people were saying Winstrol does? Stanozol and Winstrol.
I'm sure everyone says all of it does.
I'm pretty sure
someone says compound and say, yeah, it dries you out, makes you look fuller. Does it? Okay.
Yeah, not one single anabolic dries you out, but that's fine. Yeah. Drying out isn't a thing, but okay. How's Brisbane? Before that, the last 2 days here in Melbourne have been phenomenal, bar the weird 20-minute storm, hail, death from God. Like, it's been 28 and 29 degrees. I went and played some golf yesterday afternoon with Ben and Jace.
Oh, nice.
Out in like where they live, which is about 40 minutes from where I live. Yeah. Honestly, where I am, like close to the city, there was no rain. Like it did come through, but at the time that I left, there was no rain. Driving out towards them, I got through probably about half an hour. So about half an hour or 25 minutes on the drive to, yeah, and for the next 10 minutes, I was driving through like the middle of this storm. I couldn't see in front of me because of the rain was bucketing down. I'm coming out here. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Like, I shouldn't have driven all the way out here because we're probably not going to play. Once I got past the storm, completely dry. The road was dry. I'm like, wait, this isn't right. Got to the golf course completely dry. Like, and not a single drop of rain had hit it. I'm like, this is fucked, man. This is absolutely fucked, this weather. But apparently global warming's not a thing.
No, it's fine. Don't
Nah.
stress about it.
Anyway, how is Brisbane?
It's actually been pretty good. I was supposed to get all the sun today. I was going to get some color back, but it's a bit overcast, so hopefully it clears out. But yeah, no, it's been good. It's in a weird transition for me to actually do less. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it so much. But just gotten like I've kept it to sort of like 4 to 5 sessions a week. Just working like just sort of capped at like 2 top sets, 12 to 15 rep ranges, and just sort of keeping the load at like a 3 RAR, just sort of getting more pump range and connection and moving food around more than anything. But yeah, just been a like I'm someone very, as we all know by this point, like I'm someone very directionally orientated. So like taking a week, if anything's been more anxiety causing for me than being on stage. It's like
fair.
Do nothing. Oh, okay. What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, what do I do with
less.
my hands?
What do I do? So yeah, that's been like the big kicker for me, I think, which will be, and we'll probably know that take into the next prep, is actually me learning to do less for a while will be a thing I struggle with. So actually getting that accepting of that.
I feel like a lot of people like post comp, they'll go one of 2 ways. It's gone like, I need to still stay lean. So I'm still going to keep doing what I need to do because it's like I'm holding on to this look, even though logically you can't look like this because you're not supposed to look like this.
Yes.
You still try to hold on to it. And then you have those go the complete opposite and going, okay, the job's done, I'm fucked, and just eat everything.
Yeah. See, I've been like, in terms of like food wise and stuff, I've been even better. Like just the difference in this prep to last one has been tenfold different in my mentality and like my food and stuff. Like I'm only up, I think weight this morning, I'm like 3.5 kilos up from stage weight.
Yeah, perfect.
Which is like a relatively good position. Last time I was up about 7 kilos, but that was like, to be fair, I stayed around Melbourne for a while, ate a lot of food.
Yeah, of course.
That sort of shit. But just generally in a much tighter, still full around position. Like you see my photos and stories and stuff, like glycogen's filled back up, body's just back in a more relatively stable position. It's going to keep happening over the next few weeks, obviously. But just getting food back in. I've made sure that no matter what, I'm hitting my protein and veg targets. And then like if I wanted some extra food or wanted something to eat, I was introducing it. I had it, but it wasn't like disgusting amounts. Like I want a cookie here or there. I want a burger to try. I want to have fucking, what do we have the other night? I went to like a pizza restaurant, but it was like a proper authentic Italian, like it was like all you can eat, where you basically just like you finish a pizza and they bring you out another one, but it was like oven baked, low density like pizzas, not like a big stuffed all you can eat meat.
Yeah, like the wood fired thin based or
exactly
like a proper pizza.
Honestly, eating it was like eating like a fucking mission wrap, like homemade pizza. That's how thin it was. So it was like proper like authentic Italian pizzas, and it was like I'll just not have some food earlier in the day and just go enjoy that and not care. It was like sweet. So relatively like food and condition wise, like I've still got like the shit part is for me that I find is I feel back out in my lower stomach very quickly. Like that's the part I hate. And it's like the rest of my look can be fucking bang on. Like I sent you check-in photos on Monday, literally still vacuuming straighted fucking shoulders and chest and arms. And I'm like, oh, but my fucking lower stomach's like starting to puff up. I'm fat. Fuck up, idiot. Like, shut up. Literally, like, my quads are more veiny now than they were on stage. My arms are more full than they were on stage. And I'm like, oh, but my lower stomach.
Well, I mean, it's like you're meant to get fatter. It's kind of the point.
But like, it's not even a degree of fat, really. It's like, caliper wise, I think I'm like 2 weeks out from the state condition, which was like, and that was at a point of eating like 200 carbs. I'm literally been having whatever I wanted plus protein plus like cutting back all my subs. And it's like, realistically, it's not a bad position. Shut up.
Well, no, that's like I was saying, like with the analogy of the whole lion thing. It's kind of like, well, not that we look at the whole starvation mode as a thing because it's one of those funny subjects, but we know that if you've been like, if a lion doesn't eat for 4 months and then eats a gazelle, well, it's like, well, is that lion still starving? And it's like, well, maybe acutely it's not, but physiologically it's still starving because it's not meant to wait 4 months for its next meal. It's meant to eat fucking daily or whatever it is. So it's the same principle. Like you've been dieting down for like 20 weeks or whatever it is, 24 weeks. It's like, well, yeah, like we're increasing food and you're starting to feel better, but your body physiologically is still recovering, and hence why it's why it's still what we call a recovery phase. So as we titrate food up, we'll start to see body fat increase. So I mean, it's just that's a funny thing. It's like, 7 days post comp, still like fucking lean and holding condition. It's like, well,
as you would have saw in my story, I was taking the piss.
Like you're not.
No one would have found that funny until they heard the episode drop on.
Well, a few people messaged me actually, and they're like, "What a dick!" I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Or your clients, funnily enough. And they're like, I'm just like, but even like just in general, people are like, oh, 7 days post comp, still holding condition or reverse diet. It's just like, you're kidding me, man.
Staying tight.
It's 7 days. Let's see it in 7 weeks. Let's see where we're at in 7 weeks.
Yeah. Did you control that or did you blow out after
that? Like 7 days isn't fucking hard. I reckon you could eat for 7 days pretty decent. Like, eat a decent amount of food, even if it's shit, and you'd probably still be only a couple kilos up. If you've dieted down lean enough, that is.
By the time you piss and shit it all out and actually
we're not talking bikini girl lean. We're talking like,
actual lean.
Yeah, classic / bodybuilding lean.
Yeah. And that to me has been funny to watch, is like the amount of people who are like, my coach got me in this reverse diet. It's going really well, and it's like 4,000 putting on so much size. Like, as my story said last night, as we've talked about many times, like the line analogy is the best way to put it. You're literally like, if we look at it over, say, like a graph, you are literally in a depreciation and just consistently titrating downwards in terms of anabolics, energy, fucking growth factors. Everything is just going down. It's hormone function. Your body is just going to be a piece of shit. Having a week where you've sort of put up food, like 0 minus 30, or let's say 30 minus 50 is still negative 20. Just because you add 5 does not mean you're still out of that negative environment, right? Like, you're still sub negative. So
100%.
Just because you replenish it, like I said in the fucking story last night, when I actually put up a serious story, I look fuller and bigger because people have already said, like, looking at me like, oh, fuck, you're looking huge already. Like, when are you going to grow again? Or when are you going to prep again? It's like, no. If I were to start dieting again, I've literally put on no extra muscle. I would just flatten back out. I could literally start a diet again today and be back in prep condition in 4 weeks, because, like, yeah, sure, fat storage and stuff, but I would be back in condition in 4 weeks with aggressive cutting. Wouldn't be a problem. There's no muscle. There's no extra muscle gain that I've put on. It's just simply glycogen has refilled back out my muscle cells. So the muscle has just stretched and looked fuller. And that's really all it is. The pumps are better because I've got sodium, water, and carbs. Triglycerides are back in. So I just look and feel better in my training and my volume. So I look rounder. That's all it is. Yeah. That's really what's happening. But people, for some reason, think they're post-comp putting on 10, 20 kilos of mass because the coach put me on these drugs and a bounce back program. No.
It's like, that whole super compensation thing. It's like, it's been shown that it's not really a thing. Like, stop. You can't grow tissue when you've come out of a fucking 20-week prep, like, straight away. Just relax. You're filling your muscles with some glycogen, some sodium, some triglycerides, letting it fill up. That's why you look better. Why most people look better, the day after stage day. For that exact.
You've also just brushed off a shit ton of stress. Like, the event's been hit, and now there's the post-comp clarity. It's like post-nut clarity. You've literally just brushed off a whole bunch of stress. You've reduced cortisol. The end goal has been hit. So now there's no anxiety around the stage look and how you're going to present yourself. Your body's like, holy fuck, this is what a reduction looks like. And then all of a sudden you also put food back in after you've eaten, from fucking post comp. And it's like, cool, you've just alleviated a fuck ton of cortisol, put sodium and carbs back in, and now you feel great. That's not your actual look. That's just your body's like, oh,
it's sweet. Like, who would have thought, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so overall, like, I'm feeling good, feeling better. Like, some niggles and stuff to just still keep correcting that I've got in, like, my rehab already. So hip flexor and rec fem just a bit niggled and tight and weakened from prep. That we're gonna fix that before we go back into ham leg days. But besides that, like, pump sessions are feeling good. Business is exploding. Had some, like, we got like 6 consults this week, a few consults next week. They're all, clients are moving well. Everyone's happy. Everyone's going back on board and getting back to full swings. I'd say I'm probably like, I don't know, 50% recovery in terms of business. Next week, I'll probably plan to be back to full 100%, everything in full swing, and back to study and back to course creation, that sort of shit. But yeah, definitely what I thought was going to be a slower week literally just went, okay, here's my schedule of consults, check-ins, and bookings. I was like, sweet, let's go.
Yeah, makes the life a lot easier, right?
Yeah. So yeah, actually having fuel in the tank and being like, oh, I can think past 1 o'clock. What is this?
What is this mental clarity?
What is this madness? Yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm just ready to we'll get the health phase back in, get some bloods done, make sure I'm all G, and then just start executing the plan. Had a bit of feedback from other people again, and spoke to some judges and stuff like that, and literally where we thought feedback was is where feedback is. Pretty much keep structure, keep taper, keep your width, add size. Sweet.
We would have thought that was going to be the feedback.
I know, right? Like
we did.
Yeah, literally the best possible constructive feedback you can have. Do everything you've already done, just get bigger. Okay,
just do it. Just do it again, but more time. Like, okay, I can do that.
Give me more of an excuse to take more subs and food. Sweet.
No, it just means we train harder. There's a difference.
Yeah, with more subs and food.
Ease up, Tiger.
All of it. But yeah, no, that's yeah, and Tommy's in a much more constructive place as well. So we've got that very similar feedback for him, which is again the only positive you can take away from it, right? Like of everything in bodybuilding, if your only feedback is add more clavicle width, add more size and overall fullness. Okay, cool. That's just time and food and training. Yeah. What we love to do, right? Like that's literally why we do it. So if that's your only feedback, you can't be mad.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what we were saying to him. Like there was nothing wrong with his, like anything that he was doing. It was going to be purely size on his frame, and that's all that was. And yeah, it's going to be fun the next couple of years with him as well to watch him just blow up because he's got so much weight to put on.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like when we actually look at where I dug him down to, he realistically came down to like I think the lowest we dug in between states and nationals like 91.5.
Yeah,
and I don't feel there was any actual atrophy. I think it was just straight condition. Like that was just glycogen come out, fat come off. It was just down to the bone of like muscle mass. That was literally like that 91 kilos. Looking at his cap, if we can stretch him out, realistically, he has another 10 kilos to put on. Even if he gets measured down, he still has 8.5 kilos to put on. It's like, bruh, add that to where we need it. Clavicles, so shoulder width, a bit of chest fullness, back density, and quads. Sweet.
Yeah.
Your hamstrings were better than most people's. Your glutes were more shredded than everyone. Your calves were bigger than most of them. Your vacuum and taper was better than most of them. You just need some back width, some back thickness, and some legs.
Yeah, it's like I was talking to Jace yesterday when we were playing, and when his client wants to go into classic or whatever, or he is doing classic. He did classic at States, I think. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm like, oh, what's his weight cap? He goes, bro, he's 6'5". I'm like, fuck. His weight cap is all of 100, 100 and what was it? 110, 12? 12.
The 112, yeah, because Corbin was 110.
Yeah, 112 or something. I'm like, bruh, what?
What was his stage weight?
Yeah, he sub 100, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, he's got heaps. Like, fuck that.
Add that where it counts, you're good. Especially in classic where you like, it's not so much an overall like, you go to opens, it's like, okay, you need an extra 10 kilos, but everywhere. In classic, it's like if you already have some structures and parts in place, it's really just adding it where it's missing, which is like, say for Tom, just wider, rounder shoulder bellies, a bit more width of density to the leg, and like some width to the back, so a bit more lat work.
Yeah,
he doesn't, doesn't mean we then have to worry about spending as much time in say like a chest focused block or an arm focused block because that's already balanced. With open bodybuilding, you just like if you bring up one part, you got to bring up all of it.
Well, that's just it. And the thing is, depending on also like your height, like saying to Jace, how big he actually is, like the guy that he's got, 6'5". I'm like, bro, like you're gonna have to just imagine the leg size you need on someone that's 6'5". Yeah. Just because of the look, right? Like, like you don't necessarily need. It's not leg dominant per se, but you still need mass.
Yeah.
The thing is, the taller you are, like we know, the harder it is to make it look bigger. Yeah. Like. That's the point. Like it is so hard to get size and it takes so fucking long because there's just so much fucking like space to fill.
Yeah. You look at Jamie the Giant, he was 320 pounds off season. That's like 270, 280 on stage.
Yeah.
And he's like, my feedback was to get to the top ranks and stop getting thirds and seconds was I've got to be 320 on stage.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is he got to 320, 330 off season. You look at, so did Samson.
Yeah. So did Rami.
Yeah, and look at the size difference between them and him, and it's just sheer numbers. But then it's like you look at someone that big, it's like surely like the health side of things, like surely he can't go bigger than that. Like it's not to say that he can't because I know you got like strong men like Brian Shaw who's like fucking a giant, but still like it's just imagine like fuck that.
Yeah, imagine then like if he's not adding enough size at 330 off season, that means you're pushing up towards like 340, 350. To lean down to like a 290, 300 on stage. It's like, bruh, that's a lot. like your body is taking a tax at that point, regardless of your height. It's just a lot.
Yeah, I think like it's just it's an interesting one because someone like Jamie the Giant, like yeah, he's a phenomenal bodybuilder, and it's obviously like a monster of a human. But sometimes it's like, wouldn't you turn around and just say maybe like seconds and thirds are going to be like the best that you can do? It's
Yeah.
kind of like where do you be realistic in that? Okay, like where do you cross that threshold of like health and
Hmm.
life expectancy versus wanting to win? And obviously, I know the conversation. It's like you do anything to win, you don't care. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like, well, it's interesting in that it's bodybuilding, like
Yeah.
versus like say an Olympic sport or like a high paying sport
Yeah.
the where the win or the actual money associated with it may make the risk more
Yeah.
worth it or
Yes.
it make an easier like decision.
Yeah.
Whereas what at the Olympia, what do they win? Like is it
I think it's
500 or
yeah,
a
I think it's like
million now? Yeah,
500K now. No,
yeah, it's a decent amount. Like not saying it's not, but at the
if you
same
get to that
time,
level though.
well, that's it. You got to get to the Olympia,
Yeah.
and then you got to beat everyone else, and it's like,
Yeah.
hold on,
At
like,
least in
and you,
like say the NBA, you can be like, let's say you're in the Lakers, the likelihood you're making like seven figures just in a contract.
yeah, imagine
Like
him just
you don't
going
even have
to
to be you have to be like an actual championship winner. You can still be in that team and probably making seven figures a year.
imagine being his size playing NBA. It'd be fucking awesome.
That's what I remember speaking
I
to my brother.
I would watch that game.
100%. I was speaking to my brother about it. I'm like, imagine like someone like that choosing to be, 6'5" and 320, 330 pounds for a bodybuilder. Why don't you be like 250 pounds and play open basketball or like volleyball, netball or something like that, where it's like your sheer size and sporting prowess actually has a benefit beyond your health risks and
Yeah,
just being big.
100%. That's just Like I guess he's what is he 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah, he's tall.
Yeah, but I think it's funny because 6'5", 6'6" is what like average, not even average now for NBA.
No,
Like
that's still pretty up there
it's
because
still
like
average. Yeah, I'm trying to
Curry's
remember.
like 6'2", 6'1".
Yeah, but I'm saying the average height for
Yeah.
NBA, yeah, versus the rest of them. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. It's weird because not weird, but like obviously the love and passion for training, coaching, bodybuilding is like it's there, but it's like that return on health investment isn't. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, do you just back away now and just train for the fun of it and realize that look, I'm probably not going to get better than third, but that's okay. But at the same time, it's like to push any harder than that, you're probably going to take a risk on your health that even if you say it's just to win, you don't care. You've still got he's got family and friends that obviously that's going to matter, right?
Yeah, well, when always people say they don't care, like they care.
Yeah, there's a bit of care there. Like you can say
Yeah,
like there is
you can't be doing this and putting yourself through this shit and saying that you're not caring. Like
yeah.
fuck off.
You like especially if you're like say like him himself, he's a smarter sort of bodybuilder. He's taking mitigating choices to reduce risks. If you weren't caring, you wouldn't be doing those things. Like
Exactly.
he's still applying a smarter, health conscious approach to bodybuilding,
Yeah,
and that tells me he does care.
yeah,
So
exactly right.
obviously, there's a bit of degree of care there. We all
Yeah,
care. Like as
which is
90%
completely
of people,
normal. Like, don't say you don't care. Like, it's human to care. Like, it's okay.
yeah. You're not a harder bro just because you say I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. Like we'll all do whatever it takes. If you're an elite athlete or you're pushing an athletic mindset, you'll do whatever it takes. But
100%.
if that's obviously got to be in contention with winning, right? Like if you're doing whatever it takes, it just results in you dying. That's not whatever it takes, just
Well,
dying.
yeah, it's like, well, I mean, you're doing whatever it takes and you're landing like in an amateur show. Like, no one cares, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, be realistic with yourself. Like, come
yeah.
on.
And that's where a little ramble from me was probably going to go was the seeing like season A coming up, but like now that I'm not as focused and monotonous on my prep, seeing people like 1 week into a pre-prep phase or like day one of prep and they've got like 30 weeks to go and it's like they're talking about how good they're feeling, how great it's all going, and like how well their program is and how good their coach is. Like, man, you're literally not even at the point where it matters yet. Like you're 24, 30 weeks out, 20 weeks out. Like you're fine. You should to a degree have plenty of built up glycogen storage, fat mass, and energy availability. You're not worried. Like you shouldn't. There's nothing's hard yet. You're not like you haven't even experienced whether or not your coach is good because you're so in an easy position.
Yeah.
Like you're not even struggling yet. I like to be even sharing content that's like day 3 of prep. Like shut up. What is that? No one cares. No one
Yeah,
cares until like I don't know. Like what 12 weeks out, we actually start to make changes and things are getting lower. It's like okay, now you're actually getting to that digging point where it's like mentally, let's see how tough, like how hard you are.
well, how many weeks out are we from season 8? I guess it depends on what fed, right?
Well, yeah, like
Because
everything's been moved to late April. I know that. So you've got
IFBB
like
would be
months
like what do you
at
mean season
least.
8? Yeah, so I'm saying like what do you mean season 8? 6 months away. Like you're still fucking off season.
Nope. There's still there's literally I'm seeing prep start of like fucking day 3 prep week 1 like that's just a warm up phase. Like that's not even prep yet. What do you mean?
Yeah, like yeah, that's a long prep.
You
That's
should
gonna
probably either be holding your condition or starting a pre prep phase, maybe, but you shouldn't be in prep.
yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
people be
like,
doing some stupid shit.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's weird. The like I guess it's like creates like that identity around it. Like you're that prep person. You're in prep, and you're like I don't know. It should be the lifestyle you're already living. I get that, but at the same time, like you're boasting about a prep starting at 6 months out. So it's like day 1 of 250 to go. Like, really? No one cares. We don't care. Like, I didn't even care that much about my prep at that point. It's just like at that point, you just simply like, let's start getting the behaviors right and get the
Yeah,
boxes ticked, and
let's
that's
get
about it.
let's get the basics right so we can
Yeah,
do the rest. Make the rest easier later.
exactly. Let's get the basics down pat, get the routines happening, start to build a system and build momentum. At that point, no one gives a shit, not even you. It's just simply like, okay, how did I fuck up this week? Let's get better. You're not going to be perfect week 1, and you're not going to have like, if you're 3 days in, you should have a perfect week. You should have a fucking, like, you should already have the energy and the mood and the mindset and the motivation to be like, I ticked every box 3 days in. Cool. That's what you
Yeah,
should be doing. If you are doing that, you probably shouldn't be in a prep.
100%. I completely and utterly agree, as per the usual.
But hey, that's just me rambling now that I have energy.
Yeah, let's get into some questions then and make it a bit more fun.
I
All right, so we're going to start off with the doozy here.
okay.
Can we agree PB in gyms don't count unless on the platform? Obviously referring to powerlifting. Now, if you're a competitive powerlifter, then yes, I concur. However, if you're just someone who enjoys going to the gym, even if you train in the powerlifting specific movements of the squat, bench press, and deadlift, I will also count PBs in the gym because not everyone wants to compete.
Yeah.
That wants to train and still enjoy the training, like the bodybuilding lifestyle. It's just the training lifestyle, I think. And yes, so competitive powerlifter, then yes, it doesn't count. PBs in the gym don't count. Not a competitive powerlifter, PBs in the gym count because where else are you going to do them but the gym?
And like it's no different to like let's say you set a photo shoot goal, right? Like that's not a stage, but it's a photo shoot goal. Some people just want to have that incremental motivation of like their numbers, tracking their performances and their data. It's like, well, if increasing your lift capacity, whether it be an extra rep, extra set, extra, top 1 RM, 3 RM, whatever it is, if that's what you're aiming for, like getting PBs there is usually a pretty good marker of progression and motivation. So yeah, I mean, it counts. No different than someone getting lean enough for a photo shoot.
What is the worst thing you've ever done?
Worst thing I've ever done.
I mean, I don't know if this is just like in general or like gym specific.
Is that in general? So I've done some.
Yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong. I've done some horrendous shit, but it's like in the gym, I haven't done any. Well, I mean, have I done anything in the gym? Like, I have to think about it now. I've owned a few gyms, so
in one of the funniest worst things I've done is I guilt trip one of my brother's best mates at my dad's funeral for not buying me a drink.
Oh yeah, you've told us that story.
That's pretty funny. I don't know, like
Yeah, I haven't done that I can think of. No, I mean, like I said, it depends on what the worst
yeah,
thing.
if we're just going to a gym, like I've done things like run the plate drop sets and shit like that, where it's like let's do 20 plates on leg press and pull off 1 plate every failure. It's like little failure sets like that and shit where it's just blowing up random volume sets for no reason, or putting 3 people through like spew sessions when you first start. It's like that's
I mean, like coaching, it's like I definitely used to bank on trying to get someone to spew once upon a time, but I feel like we've all done that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Why are female proteins a thing? I don't know.
They're not. They're just
Yeah,
marketing.
it's a marketing gimmick because they're not an
You
actual
buy
thing.
it literally. They'll usually have like literally most of the brands I know that do a female specific protein is just half the dose of the male one, and then they just try to say that's because women digest it differently or don't want to get too bulky, and they play on that. That's it. I sold them, and that's literally all it is.
Totally fair. Negative effects the pill plays on females and their hormones. I could run a whole podcast on that. I've actually been on a podcast with about all that, to be honest. Easiest bet would be go to Lyle McDonald, get his books. I can't remember. I know I've got the book, the hard copy. Can't remember the title of it off the top of my head. To do with the menstrual cycle and female training. Oh, what's it called? Is this called the female book? No, I feel like it's a really funny, like straight out name. Hold on, I'll tell you. The
Is it
women's book.
called
The
Women's Book?
women's book.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Women's Book. Yeah,
Yeah,
volume one.
the women's book. I knew there was something. It's
Yeah,
really, really straightforward. Yeah, go to the women's book from
he is an honest man.
that has everything you need to know in it because I would be here for an hour talking about the negative effects the pill has on female hormones. Now, Primo versus Mast. I like both. They're
Okay,
very,
not us.
they're very, very similar. The only real difference, like I think that applies to again a guy asking, so applying to us men. Primo has less. It seems to have less control or less of a control on estrogen versus Masteron. So we can use Masteron to help also control to a point estrogen and keep it in check with like your testosterone in terms of ratios and that androgen to estrogen ratio. However, Primo doesn't have that same predisposition. They both elicit very, very similar effects. It's just their side effects are a touch different. I prefer, it's funny, I actually prefer Primo, don't get me wrong. Primo's awesome. Problem is it's really, really fucking expensive and really hard to find.
Yeah.
So Mast is usually your better.
Likelihood of finding quality Primo in Australia is pretty low.
Yeah, it's pretty much never going to happen. Let's be real. What else? We've got a few here. What podcast would you want to be a guest on, and one person you guys would want as a guest?
Oh,
I want to be on Bro Chat.
yeah, I would love to be on Bro Chat.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. Just
yeah,
because like hearing them try and articulate the science guy stuff, but then also just ripping on like banter and shit. Like,
yeah,
I think I just get in a mad debate with Guy because this like I find most episodes he's on now just frustrating because he just tries to talk over everyone and he just thinks like with little Napoleon syndrome that the louder he is, the harder he is. It's like, Guy, shut up.
Yeah, Bro Chat would be the one I want to be on, and then who would I want as a guest? Well, it depends on like if we're looking at from an educational standpoint, from a fun standpoint. Like there'd be so many like that we could have.
I think
on
like
here.
someone like Valier or something like that from a banter perspective, and just like being able to talk bodybuilding and stupidity and funniness and just like rip shit. I think that'd be fun. Yeah,
like Brods would be hilarious.
yeah. I
But
think
he would like. Yeah, I don't think he'd be able to keep up. I think he'd want to fucking kill himself. Yeah, like there's a few. It just depends on like the type of character. Like Fuad would be hilarious to have on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like he'd be funny.
I'd like to see him one where he's not trying to stay tame for the conversation. Like, unfortunately, when you hear Fuad, like the earlier podcast versus later ones, he's become like the dad to hold.
He's had to control everybody and keep everyone in check.
Because podcast, whereas like having him on as like a guest to talk shit, I think that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I agree with.
Was recently like a Lee Priest, like just purely from the straight upness, like
down the line type scenario.
But just like actually having him to talk straight blunt crap about the behind the scenes bodybuilding stuff.
Like Evan Centopani or something like that would be awesome. Like Flex Lewis, like there's so many people you could have on. Like it's just Was recently told by a doctor that subs are useless and suggested keto for hypertrophy. I feel like this has to be a joke.
Yes. He said he was going to mention this, and we ran through it.
That's a joke, right?
Nope. He went to a client of mine, went to a doctor to get like he went there, did a phone consult, then went there discussing some what was it? How would you say it? Some HPG pain. So like, along that pathway, I had some pains down there in that regard, and went to the doctor for that. Ended up being talked to about his weight and height. So they obviously tried to hit him with the BMI, and then sort of started getting onto things like how insulin isn't used for growing muscle, but then also keto is better to make you more insulin sensitive and will result in greater muscle growth. And therefore you should do keto dieting to gain more muscle. I was like, shut the fuck up, walk away from the doctor right now.
Yeah, look, to say that subs are useless is obviously a very stupid blanket statement. And keto for hypertrophy has been shown not to elicit as good a response as when carbohydrates are included. So, in terms of carbohydrate partitioning, yeah, there's some validity in that comment, and that's about it. But
Yep.
it means you need to reintroduce carbohydrates for it to be partitioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gym peeve. People bring dogs into the gym. It's an interesting one. I own a gym. A lot of people bring their dogs, provided they don't molt too much, and also they're not yappy. If
For
they're
like away.
yeah, usually most like our members just tie them to the rig, like next to them, so it's fine. So they're usually pretty chilled. Most of the dogs are chilled, but yeah, like one that's free roaming if it happens. Like, yeah, I agree if it's yappy and shit, but it's like most people like dogs. It's very rare that you find someone who doesn't like a dog.
Well, I think
It's just the temperament of the dog.
The danger for me is so at the gym we used to train at, they would welcome dogs and stuff. It was awesome because like you just be chilling between sets and there's fucking there's like Labradors and Rotties and stuff running around and chatting and shit.
That's the thing.
It was a very tight knit gym with like size. And so you've got like dumbbells pushing upwards towards the 60s, and you've got like little terriers running around like in between benches.
That's the thing.
Like,
don't have
a risk.
Don't have them running around. Time up.
Yeah, mentally, I'm like worried about, hey, can you fuck this dog off while I'm about to do this PB because it's running between these benches and I'm just going to drop it.
Yeah,
that I feel bad. I hit your dog, but secondly, it's your fault because you haven't tied it up.
Yeah, no, that I agree with, and that's why I say like if they're tied up, no problems, and they're chilled. But yeah, if they're running around, obviously not. Gym peeve again. Seeing coaches add more weight when client isn't using decent form. We've gone through that a billion times. We've got a lot of gym peeves going on here. A coach peeve when your coach won't grow his mo back. Don't grow the mo back. It's fucking horrible.
Good. Fuck you.
Fucking don't grow it back. You look like fucking. You look like the Wish version of Bumstead.
Yeah. That's still not a bad look.
Your mustache is the mustache your mum says you have at home.
Correct.
What's the difference between cinnamon swirl and toasted cinnamon cereal? I have no idea. I don't eat either of them.
Nothing? Toasted
cinnamon. I know that there is like the cinnamon crunch and all that sort of stuff, which I've had before. But what's the difference between cinnamon swirl and toasted cinnamon cereal? I got no. I have no clue.
I got no clue either.
I don't eat.
Say it's like
I don't eat
like
either.
people that say like peanut paste and peanut butter. Like it's
I got no idea. I'm sure they're two different fucking cereals, probably. Would you rather eat every meal in a filthy job site portaloo or every poo and pee be in public?
Oh,
every
both of those are shit, literally.
In public. I mean, I don't mind taking a whiz in public. Taking a dump in public.
Like how public?
Yeah, I'd pee in shit in public.
I mean, it depends. Like, if I'm having like a bad stomach day, shit, that's
I don't care. It's because you know why? It's everyone else's problem.
Yeah, that's fair. You got to deal with it, not me.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Is it at least like in a place where it's just like see-through walls, or is it like I have to shit in a place where there's just nothing but a toilet?
I'll shit in the middle of the road. I don't give a fuck.
Like those Japanese buildings would freak me the fuck out. Like you go in there, it's like a holographic, like it's sorry.
Yeah.
But it turns reflective.
Yeah.
But you don't know that until you're in there. It's like I can see out, and I could see in when I was coming in, but now I don't know if I can see out or not, which means you can see in. But yeah, I've been in job site portaloos, and you don't want to eat in there.
Yeah, no, I completely and utterly agree. I would be shitting and pissing in the middle of the road so I can eat my food comfortably. Great results, Ben. Considering self-prep next time. Thoughts on your learnings and do it again? Question mark. So I'm assuming they're asking, would you do it again? And this person is also considering doing a self-prep.
Yes and no. So like there was a lot I learned about myself, a lot I learned about just recognizing objective markers and data. Then there was just also certain points where I just did have to admit to taking the help that was around. There's just certain points where it's not so much that you don't know what you're doing, it's more so that you get the motivation towards the end line to want to do more. And that's the part where you have to learn to pull back on. And that's a big thing for most people is when you're towards the back end of prep is being able to pull back when necessary. Not so much that you're not doing enough or like that you're not suffering enough or that shit, because usually most people are doing more than already plenty. But yeah, I think it was it was fun. I liked it. I was a lot more objective with myself than I thought. I was good with my data. I was reflecting on myself. I set myself my own check-in dates. I did all that shit. Like I treated my photos like I was a client. I treated my data like I was a client. Gave myself a check-in every Sunday. Um, I found the strategies that worked for me to a certain point and then modify when necessary, didn't change until unnecessary, ran ideas past people, ran drug protocols past people, and then it just got to a point where I was like, I'm fucking dead, scaff takeover.
Yeah, that's what literally would have got to a point like, all right, tag, you're it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah,
Uh,
like don't get me wrong, I would have probably just hammered myself a bit too hard in terms of like I think that was probably your biggest input was just like shut up and do less. Stop. You're not doing
yeah,
more.
yeah,
You're not doing extra things. So
yeah.
yeah,
It was like do more at the start so you could do less later.
yeah, that's pretty much would
That
just be my
should be on a t-shirt.
yeah, that would just be my hindsight reflection. Realistically, it was get it out of the way at the start, um, and then yeah, pull back when you need to at the end. That yeah, pretty much would have been the big difference for me in hindsight.
What's an opinion you have in or about the industry that most people disagree with?
The supplements have their place.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're created for a reason. They're not like
Yeah,
they're create. Most of them aren't like created as a marketing gimmick.
yeah,
Most of them just become marketing gimmicks,
yes,
really, because they become these like weird fucking off-center shit things
yeah.
that aren't there for what they're supposed to be. But an opinion that I have that most people would disagree with.
Actually, no. You know what? My opinion is that nothing is absolute, and I fucking hate absolutists. It just nothing in
it's,
nothing.
it's like there's two types of people I hate in this world: those intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Mm, you crazy Dutch bastard. His PP is solid gold. Yeah, I think that's the biggest one for me is regardless of any point, if you know anything, especially if you claim to be evidence based or anything like that, regardless of what you prescribe or do, if you claim anything in absolutes, then you don't actually know what you're talking about to most
Yeah,
people because
yeah.
you can't claim absolute, whether it be like my this diet is the only way that works, this meal plan is the only way that works, this program volume is the only way. A lot of it is fucking anyone who claims they know exacts is misrepresenting trial and error because it's just
Yeah,
simply you have to just see what sticks and figure it out in a controlled fashion.
yeah. I think I'm just trying to think of more like something I guess a bit more specific. Like, is there some training thing or nutrition thing that I sort of go on with and believe in that most people don't? I don't think there really is. I think for me, what the probably two biggest things would be like one, the sumo deadlift needs to fuck right off.
Fair facts.
Yeah, like the glute bridges can probably come with that. Just needs to fuck right off. Um, there's another one. I think there was one other one in my head. The whole training debate, like the volume versus effort levels.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, yeah, like
it's a weird
having
false
having
dichotomy.
having done both, it's kind of like I would still go on the side of train to failure more often, even if the
Yeah,
research suggests that it doesn't. Research is
I'm
research by fucking
yeah,
nerds in a lab that don't lift.
I'm
So,
getting sick of the
you know what I mean? I think that's,
yeah
I'm sort of sitting on that sort of fence. Like,
yeah
again, it's always lift dependent, person dependent, session dependent, hence
yeah
the whole auto regulation thing. But
yeah.
I think most of the time, if you don't want to leave any stone unturned, and it's kind of like if you have a genuine goal to get jacked, why
Train fucking
wouldn't,
hard.
yeah, like if the biggest risk of training to failure is a recovery standpoint, then just not so much like, people are like, well, a good program means you don't have to deload. It's like, well, take, you can auto regulate the week. You don't necessarily need to deload. You just take an auto regulated week. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, this week I'm going to go a bit more pumpy. Like, fucking
Yep.
send it. I think that's probably
Um.
where I disagree with most people.
Yeah. I think that problem I find too is same is that um already people look for excuses to do less, right? And be lazy and be, fucking like find excuses not to have to do shit. All this data coming out that's presented in a way that sort of shows like backing off can kind of be as beneficial, or you don't need to go this far. People already don't go far enough as it is. Like what someone calls a 2 RAR is realistically like a 4 or 5. You're then saying, hey, you don't actually need to go to failure. So they're going to pull back even further without already reaching that failure point. So it's just like you're encouraging people in the with the wrong the outcome is smart, but the delivery leads to almost people under training and then being like, well, I'm not getting any results, but also like this guy said I don't have to train as hard. It
Yeah.
frustrates me.
Yeah. That's
Um,
probably, yeah.
I guess the actually the one in a nutrition sense that frustrates me is when a certain educational position sort of prescribes that every single person at below 1800 calories is low calories. Fuck off. I fucking hate it. You cannot set an arbitrary number as low calories when clients are coming to you to have a result or a goal of a physique or body composition. If you need less calories or greater deficit level to get that result, guess what? You just have to do it. And if it gets to a point where it's too low, there's that low that, like, 900 calories and just ethically you can't go past that, or the client's not returning, figure out the diet break, take them back to maintenance, drive them harder later, or just pull them out and do something different. But this weird insinuation that a set number is a low calorie threshold and therefore anything less than that makes you a bad coach, I just despise. I think it's dumb shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's where I find it. It's just a weird thing. It's like it's really not complex. Just like fucking you you cover all your bases. It's like train obviously to failure, or at least until the movement slows down.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to cover your bases in terms of hypertrophy and the response.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing you have to sort of manage and mitigate, well, not so much mitigate, the best thing you have to manage is fatigue. It's like, whoop de fucking do. Like, you're meant to be fatigued after you fucking train. Hello.
Yeah. If you're
like,
training to 2 to 1 RAR, you're probably going to be fatigued.
Yeah, if you're training and you're not getting fatigued, you're simply not training hard enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the questions I got.
All right. I got a few. I put up a thing about peeves, like coaching peeves from a client's perspective and just client peeves in general. Being told to manifest when you are stressed as fuck. So this person who I know this one personally, when they went to their coach discussing things around food anxieties and lifestyle anxieties, was told to manifest their stress solutions.
Oh yeah, I know this one. You've told me this one already.
Yep.
Yeah, we've already been through that.
Yep. People selling their services as naturally achievable based off their enhanced physique. Yeah, scumbags. We've already been through that.
Been through that.
Coaches that compete in the same class as their clients, I feel they sabotage them. This was specific to a North Queensland environment. I mean, me and Tom did the same categories, although yes, I started in opens for this season. I just sort of focused predominantly on classic, but I think it's coach dependent because I was more excited for Tom's prep than my own. I literally had people say, "Shut up, enjoy your own prep." But
I think the only problem is if you're, well, it's like, I mean, I guess how do you know? But it's like if you're coaching a client, both competing in the same class, and you somehow seem to hold your client back in a sense, then obviously it's a problem. But
for sure.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't come across that. I haven't seen that be a problem. I haven't seen like a client stick with a coach and then, both same category and the coach do the client wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a thing.
When clients withhold data intentionally because they don't want to annoy you, that's just a lack of ownership and client trust in themselves and the process.
Yeah, it depends. Like I can understand from the client's point of view, like they're wanting to, maybe not be annoying or something like that. But if the coach is saying, "Hey, like, dude, fucking send me your shit, send it whenever you want, like, just do it.
Fill in your data sheet, send me your data, send me a message."
Yeah, I can see both sides of that.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's like weeks have gone by and you've held something back and I can see in your data shit's going wrong and you're like, it takes you a month to say, "Hey, oh, by the way, this happened."
Yeah.
Eventually we're going to get there anyway. So you may as well just tell me.
Yeah, 100%.
Weirdest myth that somehow survives the eras of bodybuilding. Tilapia thins the skin. That is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
That is, I don't know how that fucking started or why, but it's my favorite.
Yeah, I have no idea on that one. I don't know. I can't think of any other ones.
A recent fact you learned can be anything. A recent fact I learned that can be anything. Fuck. I really didn't learn much during prep. Like proper brain fog.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What have I learned recently? I mean,
weird when you put on the spot like that.
I think I had the Broderick seminar on Sunday. Surely I learned something from
that. Shit.
I mean, I'm sure there's something in there. I just can't think of it.
Yeah, I got nothing at the moment.
Yeah, mine's gone blank.
Recent fact you learned. Yeah, I got nothing. Which is sad, but whatever. How do you say Worcestershire sauce? Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to see the word.
Worcestershire sauce.
Well, I know what it is, but I can't think. I need to visually see the word.
Fair cop.
Well, hold on, let's have a look.
Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. Here we go. I need to say the word.
Is it Worcestershire? Shire? Worcestershire size. She sells seashells by the seashore.
Yeah, Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce.
It's about the best I've got.
Yeah, Worcester. Yeah, Worcestershire. Something like that. I don't know. That's what I got.
Yeah, best I got. Yep, that's about all right. That is pretty much it for my questions.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Simples and effective as always. I like it.
And easy.
What do we have coming out that we need to know about, Benjamin?
What do we have coming out? So we just presented our. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's another thing. Weekend just gone by. Presented my first expo since prep, which knowing me was super smart. Literally come the week out of prep and be like, hey, I'll do a presentation that I haven't done yet and put together.
Why not?
So took that on and yeah, did a presentation on identity, self-narrative theory, and self-concept for female athletes in sport. That was really good. So I got some positive feedback from that from people who were in the audience pretty much like straight away, which is cool. So we're gonna look at running that myself and Josh with the topic that he spoke on. We're gonna put that together and probably redo it as a private seminar. We have the hypertrophy seminar coming out, I think, more towards like December. We did have it scheduled for mid-November, but my recovery is just not there to run it and be effective. Like we've already got it together for the course, so we're going to sort of take a snippet out of that and just run it as an individual sort of seminar, just because, as I think we talked about it before, it's just going to be a very basic, like rudimentary level to hypertrophy or myofibril hypertrophy and just understanding how mechanical tension is a primary driver and obviously metabolic stress and yada, yada, but just general jazz that gets lost on people at the basic level that I think needs to be fundamentally understood and less about the complexity topics and just more about here's the fucking basics, drive them.
Yeah, just do this.
Yeah, just do this for 6 years. Like do this for 5 years first, then tell me you're struggling to grow or like you haven't trained properly or fucking something. If you can do that for 2 to 5 years and then not get results, cool. We can figure something else out. What else? We're about to start driving back up content. So make sure you're subscribing, following. We've got the day in the life for prep episode coming out. I think the episode's been sent to us on Friday so that'll be the week out up to the day before and the day of show with the post-show wrap-up from Phil. So that'll be getting sent to us Friday. He pretty much told me I'm probably going to cry, so I was like, fuck, like, let me just take some AIs to get my estrogen out again. He's like, yeah, so that's going to be pretty, I don't know, I think it'll be cool to watch. So I'm keen to see it. It's like about half hour long, I think you were sort of saying. So be 2 episodes there that he's kind of put together. That'll be out. So we'll send to us Friday. So probably be loaded Saturday, something like that, maybe. And then I'm gonna start driving. So anyone who knows Dr. Mike, is one of my favorite Instagram accounts. I'll be starting to put together some like whiteboard content similar to what he does, more tailored towards like training or psychological principles as opposed to like neuroanatomy and fucking metabolic pathways and stuff he does. He's like a neuroscientist, so that's his thing. So very similar concept. I think it'd be a bit more engaging than just me writing or just doing talking reels. I just want to be more engaging. So that's pretty much where we're going.
Should be fun. I got nothing going on. Work, train, eat, sleep, golf.
We are going to figure out some training camp seminar potentially and have a look at that. So we'll start knuckling down, see some dates on that and actually put that together. I think that'll be fun. Actually, I literally had a few people message me after the episode and be like, you guys need to do this. I was like, oh, okay. Well, there's some interest.
Like, I mean, yeah, I know. That's why we said it.
Correct.
We said it. We know it needs to happen. That's why we suggested it. Yes. Well, let us knock all out the details, and then we'll go from there.
We'll figure it out, pull it all together. But imagine basically a 7-day camp week where we bunk together, eat together, train together, and you learn. Sounds like a fucking fun week to me.
And get fucking swole.
And get swole and visit Thailand pharmacies and get tans.
I mean, it'll make it interesting for the PED component, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this is what Winstrol does. Now take it and find out.
Yeah, this is on entry.
On entry, we're gonna
map your little vitamin kit. Just take them and don't ask questions.
Yeah, it's like your elite athletes. That cup that's on your table.
Yeah,
take those.
Why am I running so hot? Because it was 500 micrograms of DNP. Anyway,
man, that's something I have not missed. Is the night sweats. That's
fair.
They're still there, to be honest. Like I literally last night I fell asleep, literally fucking aircon fan on top of my fucking blankets and shit, and I was still like, I'm uncomfortably hot. Like my body's still getting back to normal.
Yeah, we'll pull it back there. Don't stress.
Yeah,
All right,
that's it from us.
guys and girls, as always, thank you for tuning in. Any suggestions or topics you wish us to talk about, either message us or put them in the question box that go up on Wednesday morning, both on the Instagram page, bros_with_brains, or myself or Ben.
Yeah, I have energy now, so they're up.
Goodbye, kids.
See you guys.